Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at the Arsenal player ratings versus West Brom as the Gunners got on individually in their Carabao Cup second round match at the Hawthorns. So the first person on the list is Aaron Ramsdale, and actually had to work quite hard given the scoreline. Plenty of decent saves, and he really showed that in one-on-one situations he worked hard for his clean sheets. He was closed down at one point playing out from the back, but looks to be a very solid acquisition in goal off the back of this performance, and hopefully that £24 million signing, which rises up to £30 million, turns out to be a decent signing, because I think his distribution from his goal, the way he shows a little bit of calm and composed nature, I think it's a very good acquisition. And for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7 for his performance. Next up, we got Cullen Chambers, and he didn't really have to get forward much, but looked good when he did. A far more defensively assured performance as well than the one against Brentford. And I think when it comes to Cullen Chambers, he showed a performance where he looks like he really wants to play for this football club, and he showed a performance where he looked defensively really well, and there were some moments where he made those overlapping runs and he made those right passes which I was impressed by, but I still think we need a new right back, and for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Rob Holding. He dealt well with the aerial threat provided by Kenneth Zohore and was assured on the ball. One moment where we saw him landed in the book, but a solid enough performance from the Englishman who surely must start on Saturday. And one thing I love about Rob Holding, even though he's not the best centre-back at the football club, is the fact that he shows his passion for this football club. He has a very good mindset, and that's something I really prefer, and he gets a 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Siad Kolasinac. A surprise call at the back, and an even bigger surprise that he was in at centre-back. Did okay though, save for a poor tackle that landed him in the book. If it is to be a farewell match, then this is a nice one to bow out on. And it was very surprising because when he was brought into the squad, many people were confused. Is he going to play as a left back? Is Tavares going to play as a right back? And there was a lot of questions why he was picked as the player. But if it is a farewell match for his performance, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Nuno Tavares. You can't fault the Portuguese international's enthusiasm, but his application at times leaves a bit to be desired. Plenty of heavy touches and a few rash defensive moments. Very direct and offensive play though, and there were moments where I think that he is going to do something amazing, but then he makes some silly mistake like a slip or something happens wrong. But overall, I think it's a very good acquisition to be a Kieran Tierney backup, and I think it's fair to say for his performance, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Mohamed Elneny. And in terms of Mohamed Elneny, he was tidy in possession, and his defence splitting pass was key for Arsenal's second. A good all-round display from the Egyptian, who has been linked with a move away. And when it comes to Mohamed Elneny, you know you'll get that performance where he does all the right things you expect, but he doesn't go a bit too extra, but he makes sure that he can get this football club where it should be, and he's made the certain moments where I think that was good play. And for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Granit Xhaka. A good performance of leadership from the Swiss midfielder, dropped deep to aid the build-up play and did a good job of dinking some balls over the West Brom defence that could have caused some problems. But there were also moments where I saw Granit Xhaka making some mistakes where there was a lack of concentration, but overall I think it was a good performance by the Swiss international and justified very well in certain occasions that he deserves that new contract extension. So now moving into the attack, we first got Nicola Pepe. The Ivorian looked frustrated as he kept getting in space on the right and not receiving the ball. Some really nice moments when he did though, including a goal he will be happy with to get him underway for the season. And when it comes to Nicola Pepe, he's someone that has heavily featured under Mikel Arteta, as you can clearly see in that number, in that winger role, and he's someone that hopefully has an impressive season moving in to the game versus Manchester City and overall as a season, but for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves an 8. Next up, we got Martin Erdegaard, a fantastic second debut for the Norwegian who helped link the Arsenal play beautifully, and also assist for Bukai Osaka's goal was the highlight of a really promising display. And when it comes to Martin Erdegaard, he does do the basics very well, and he has something of an eye which other players do not see, and that's something that I'm really always impressed by Martin Erdegaard, his ability to really read play and really make some standout passes, and that's something that he deserves an 8 for. Next up we got Bukai Osaka. Integral to the build with his direct play in the first half, was interesting to watch him come central to do this where he looked really threatening, a lovely first goal as well to cap off a fine display, and Saka once again shows that he is ready to improve in an Arsenal shirt, and we can clearly see we are lucky to have a player such as Bukai Osaka in our football club, given the fact that he does deliver a lot, and for his performance today he deserves a 9. Next up we got the talisman, and his name is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and an excellent way to end your goal scoring droughts. The Arsenal captain, restored to the number 9 role, looks so much more dangerous when actually close to the goal. His third goal was the archetypal Aubameyang finish to show that he has hopefully got his confidence back. And I'm really pleased for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang after a very tough season in the previous campaign, and hopefully he can kick on and make an impression, which is very difficult versus Manchester City, but he gets a 9 for his performance. Moving into the substitutes, we first got Alexandre Lacazette. He came back from his time out with COVID with a goal almost instantly and looked pretty motivated. It will be interesting to see if he starts on Saturday, if Mikel Arteta keeps Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang down the middle, and I think he played very well in that number 10 role as a striker, and he gets a 7 for his performance. Next up we got Ainsley Maiden, and he will have been disappointed not to have started the game, but will be happy to have assisted the best goal of the night in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's third, received a warm welcome from the West Brom fans after his loan at the club. And for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7. Next up we got Gabrielle Martin, and he came on too late to influence the game, but there were certain moments where I thought that he looked like he was going to score as well, and definitely was going to receive a rating straight away. But Gabrielle Martin had a decent performance, but he doesn't deserve a rating from me. But overall, when it comes to Arsenal, it was very good play, but the big tough test is versus the likes of Manchester City, and Mikel Arteta knows that if he can get that victory over Manchester City, then we are making a statement after 2 poor losses against Brentford and Chelsea respectively. And even though this performance was convincing, it was against the Championship side, but I'm looking forward to the game versus Man City.